Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KipAgile.com, here to bring you what will ultimately be part one in a multi-part series in my experience ultimately with the Uncanna full spectrum CBD oil. Some of you probably just lost your mind. You're like, what? Drugs? Yes, CBD is absolutely a drug, just like caffeine and a plethora of other things. Ultimately, a drug being something, some sort of substance that is going to either inhibit or promote some sort of chemical reaction in our body, which is going to give us, ideally, a desired effect. So, to that end, like 30,000 foot view, what is CBD, where does it come from, all that stuff. Lots of misinformation, confusion with respect to it because we have cannabis and then within that we have hemp and we have marijuana. Marijuana, of course, being THC based, the drug that gets you high, THC. And then hemp on the other side though, industrial hemp, which while it does have THC, that drug component of marijuana that everyone thinks of, over here on the side of hemp, it's like 0.3% THC. Comparatively to marijuana, which spans anywhere from like 5% up to like 30% THC. Significantly more. So two totally different things. But unfortunately, hemp has been demonized for a long time because of basically back in the 70s with Nixon and the war on drugs, cannabis getting turned into a Schedule I narcotic, and all these other things. With the Controlled Substance Act and our war on drugs, which has arguably gone as well as our war on like poverty and obesity, considering we can't even keep drugs out of maximum security prisons, but I digress. Finally came full circle with the Farm Bill in 2018, which removed industrial hemp from the Controlled Substance Act and put it over in the domain of the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. Now that industrial hemp is easier to farm, more and more companies are moving into the space of creating CBD oil. Cannabidiol, I don't know how to pronounce it, but CBD-based products. With that, there's more and more research going into CBD, both with kind of the properties as well as effects, benefits, things along those lines, all kinds of clinical testing. So to that end, one of the companies that's entered the space is Uncanna. Veteran-owned company, and per their site, their mission statement is to be the leading voice of advocacy for CBD in the military and veteran community, provide the most accurate information and comprehensive access to research in the industry, to reverse the Department of Defense ban on natural CBD supplements with education campaigns and political action, in order to allow access to those who have no alternatives, provide the highest quality, most trusted products at a competitive price. I think that's pretty cool. Having said all that, what does CBD do? Well, we'll start with what it doesn't do. It doesn't get you high. Again, 0.3% THC. So if you want to smoke some industrial hemp, you would probably die of smoke inhalation before you ever felt the effects of THC, which is the drug component of marijuana. So it doesn't do that. What are potential side effects of it? Hasn't been used and documented, so there's not like tons and tons of evidence, but the one kind of side effect that it looks like there is potential is basically interfering with prescription drugs that someone's already on. So putting that stuff to the side, what are some of the benefits? Of course, can't make any claims because I'm not a doctor and the FDA has to approve drugs. We know they can be trusted because the head of the FDA is pretty much like a revolving door to the board of directors for like Monsanto and all your pharmaceutical companies. But what has it been shown to do? Well, there have been clinical trials with use for treating epilepsy, and beyond that, kind of this really broad spectrum of use, whether it's helping with sleep, like ultimately sleeping disorders, stress, anxiety, depression, not to mention essentially kind of those symptoms of like PTSD. And then on top of that, basically other things, whether it's kind of inflammatory diseases like within the body or even treating Alzheimer's, all kinds of different uses that people are kind of dipping into with respect to research in CBD. Which brings us to the question of, why am I taking CBD? What am I looking to get out of it? Well, I don't have epilepsy, don't think I have Alzheimer's, I don't think I have PTSD, but everyone's looking at the world through their own lens. Like, where do you even start trying to define normal? I will say, largely in part because of basically my journey and where I'm at with Kit Badger, entrepreneurial pursuits. There's absolutely some stress in my life, and with that, probably some anxiety, and like, honestly, sometimes I don't sleep as well as I'd like. Sometimes I wake up, don't get as restful a sleep as I would like. So if it can pretty much do anything for that, that would be amazing. Not only for me personally, but bigger picture for me is basically help me be a better father to my boys. If I am stressed, if I don't get much sleep, that basically translates into me not being as patient as I would like to with my boys. So I don't know, we'll see what it does for me. One of the other really important factors with respect to CBD from Uncanna that I looked into doing my due diligence is the way it's made. So it's produced from industrial hemp, more importantly though, from organic hemp. Why is that important? Well, if you take something and you concentrate it, the last thing you want is like concentrated pesticides. Like, I don't want to drink Roundup, not good. So this is made from organic industrial hemp. On top of that, third-party testing to actually verify it, its purity, all those things. And overall, just even vetting them through Instagram. Follow them on Instagram, and the overall message that they basically push is to live an awesome life. Like, that's it. Like, that's, at least that's what I draw from it. And I can get behind that, like, absolutely. So with that, I have 2 of these bottles, probably enough to get me through probably about 2 months. Also came with a handy dose chart. Right on the front of it, each individual's dosage is unique. Dosing tips: start low, work your way up. Take 1 dose in the morning, 1 at night, monitor effects, adjust dosing as needed. And yeah, basically give you days of the week, weeks of the month, AM, PM, all that stuff. So you can keep track and kind of figure out, find the sweet spot for yourself. So what am I going to be doing? Well, I'm going to be taking this. You can take it with food or under the tongue. I'm going to probably just take drops under the tongue. End up ultimately revisiting it probably in about 2 weeks, maybe a month, somewhere in there. See where I'm at as far as my dosing, like what's kind of working for me, and revisit it at least once, if not twice more, like as I go through essentially the product and kind of my takeaways at the end of it. If you want to join me on this journey that is unknown at this point, you're welcome to. They actually reached out, gave me a discount code if you guys want to pick some up. And yeah, ultimately I'm excited to try it and see what it does for me. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.